Hello and welcome to the morning sports briefing here on Monday, the 16th of November. And I hope you're having a fantastic start to your week. In the news today, we'll bring you up to date with the Premier Hockey League results, the Plunket Shield cricket results. There's also been some New Zealand Premiership football action over the weekend in the men's and the women's. The US Masters is currently live. There's been a UFC event over the weekend, as well as Formula One in a wet race. And then we had that really tense rugby day or intriguing rugby day in the Mitre 10 Cup as well. So it's been a busy old weekend of sport. This is your best way to start the day up to speed with all your important sports news. And hi, I'm Paul. I'll be your host this morning, just like I am every morning. I don't know why I say that from that point of view. It's not like we have a rotating host, but there we go. I do have some guests though. I got a guest today. That's good. So in the hockey yesterday, it was the women were in action, and all the games are taking place in Hamilton. At the Waikato Hockey Park. So if you want to get down to any of those games there, the Tridents played the Alpiners and won that one 4-1. The Mavericks and Falcons could not be separated in normal time. It was 1-1, but in the shootout, the Mavericks won that one 3-2 over there. They have a 10-day break, and their next games are on the 25th of November. In the evening at 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. if you want to get down there and check that all out. The men's competition kicks off on the 19th, so that's Thursday this week, where they'll be taking place again in Hamilton as well. Over in the football and in the women's comp, Wbbl lost to Canterbury United 2-4. Southern United lost to Northern Lights 2-3. So 2 away wins there. And then Auckland beat Capital 3-1 in that one, which means that Auckland are top of the table with 3 wins from their 3 games, with Canterbury second with 2 wins from their 3 games. Southern United have yet to get a point at the bottom of the table. Over on the men's one, and it's week 1 for them, so it's the opening round. And on Sunday, we had Hawke's Bay losing to Hamilton Wanderers 0-3, and Auckland City beating Eastern Suburbs 1-0. So in that opening round, means that Waitakere United are top of the table with a 4-0 victory over Canterbury on Saturday. And Team Wellington also got a 1-0 over Wellington Phoenix on Saturday as well. So that's your men's premiership has kicked off. I'm going to hand you over to Ashwin now, who's going to take us through our cricket update.
Good morning, Paul, and good morning to all our viewers and listeners on the interweb. Still feeling a bit peaky after a hard weekend, but here we go. PSL carries on as we reach the eliminators matches. So that's the Pakistan Super League. And the Lahore Qalandars are playing the Multan Sultans and reached 182 for 6 of their 20 overs. What looked like a below-par score was given a significant boost by David Weiss, scoring 48 of 21 balls. For the Multan Sultans, Adam Lyth making a good start of the power play, getting the Sultans off to a great start. They are currently on 109 for 4. Matches in the balance, then the Sultans are needing a further 74 runs of 43 balls. So that's at a run rate of 10.32. They've just lost another wicket, though. So they're 109 for 4 now. But they do have Riley Russo at the wicket, and we do know that he can smash a ball around. So, yep, there's just over 7 overs to go there, and it's looking quite in the balance there. Moving along to the Wbbl, and there were wins for the Melbourne Renegades over the Melbourne Stars. The Renegades winning that in a super over after the match was tied up at 165 runs apiece after regulation overs. The Hobart Hurricanes got over the Brisbane Heat. The Hurricanes winning that match quite easily by 10 wickets after bowling the Heat out for just 82. And the Adelaide Strikers got up over the Sydney Sixers in another low-scoring affair. The Strikers bowling out the Sixers for 105. The Sixers were only chasing 119. So the Strikers getting home there. And back home, the last round of the Plunket Shield before a long break for the short format games get started has been going on. We're into the second day of all these matches. In the match between Northern Districts and Central Districts, Central are on 161 for 4 after Northern scored 347 in their first innings. Wellington are well positioned against Auckland. They're on 302 for 2. Auckland scored 279 all out in their first innings. And Canterbury have carried on their great start to the season, bowling out Otago for 168. And now in a great position to get an outright victory, sitting on a commanding 424 for 4. Feel like Richie Beno there. 424 for 4 in their first turn at bat. So looks like there's a good opportunity there for Canterbury to go in and get that outright. As I mentioned before, they'll probably be going for quick runs this morning before trying to get Otago back in there and wrapping up that win with 10 wickets. So just going back to that PSL match, and yes, the Multan Sultans will leave you in that they're with them on 110 for 4. Riley Russo is now on 17. He's just started to hit a few boundaries around, so we'll see whether the Sultans can get over the Calanders for that match and win that eliminator match and move into the finals. And we'll bring the result for that to you not only tonight, because swinging from the hips on tonight, but we'll bring it to you in the sports news tomorrow as well. And that, Paul, is our cricket news for today.
Thank you very much, Ashwin, for that update. Moving on then into the Formula One, and Lewis Hamilton secured his 7th overall title, coming from 6th on the grid. He won the wet race at the Turkish Grand Prix. It's his worst, well, it's from memory, his worst qualifying position of the season, and managed to get around, or managed to have much more better tactics than the other teams, and also keep himself going forward, not spinning out like he saw some of his competitors on the day. So great drive from him, great season, 7th championship, equals with Michael Schumacher, and he passed Michael Schumacher this season with a number of Grand Prix individual wins. So wonderful day for Lewis Hamilton there. Over in the UFC, and it was UFC Vegas 14 over there, and Rafael dos Anjos beat Paul Felder in a points decision. Paul Felder had stepped in only a few days before the race, before the fight, as Rafael's original opponent had pulled out of that one. That was in the lightweight division, which at the moment doesn't have a title holder, as Kahib has retired from that position. So it'll be interesting to see if he does, being a former champion. So it'll be interesting to see how the UFC decide to anoint their new belt holder in that division. Over at the Masters, and it is the 4th round at the moment, and Dustin Johnson is top of the ladder at the moment, on the 11th, or through the 11th hole on his of the 4th round. He's 17 under par for the tournament, 3 shots ahead of Cameron Smith, the Australian, who is at 14 under par. Oh, actually, he's just at 14 under par in that one. And then South Korean is in 3rd place at 13 under par. So yes, it's all coming to a conclusion at the Masters, and Justin Johnson looking in a good position to take the green jacket over there. In the basketball at the weekend, we had the Schicht 3x3 down in Invercargill. In the women's final, it finished with Auckland Dream facing off against Harbour Breeze, one of the sort of big rivalries that we have at the moment in women's basketball. And Auckland Dream took that one 18-16 in that one. Over on the men's final, it was Hawke's Bay Hawks versus Southland Sharks. And Southland won that one 21-19. When you get to 19, it's first to 19, or the team that has the highest score or who's leading after 10 minutes. And Southland Sharks got to 21 first. So congratulations to them for winning the overall men's competition down there in front of their home crowd in Invercargill. On to the rugby there. Onto the motorsport and in the Battle of Jacks Ridge, supercar star Shane Van Gibson produced a wonderful drive to win that one. You got to say, after his win in the Auckland Rally in two-wheel drive, he's shown that he could do it with a four-wheel drive car as well. In that one, beating Hayden Padden, the ex-World Rally Championship driver, in this one as well. So, congratulations to Shane Van Gisbergen. It'll be interesting to see. Will he stick with supercars or will he move over to rallying? So we'll have to wait and see there. He handed his. The two-wheel drive car back to his dad for this race, and he gave a big thanks to his dad and Rally Art New Zealand team, and also his co-driver Brianna. So congratulations there to Van Gisbergen. And yes, in the rugby, it was a tense week of final day there, with teams fighting out for both finals places and also relegation there as well. And we had three very close games in the end. First up, there were two games at the same time in the championship. We had the Taranaki playing Hawke's Bay, and that finished 33-34. Taranaki going close against Hawke's Bay. Hawke's Bay obviously put a lot of effort into the Ranfurly Shield this year. That sees Hawke's Bay finish top of the championship, and they will host Taranaki next weekend in the semi-finals. Otago will be facing Northland after Saturday's games. And then it was all down to the Premiership. Bay of Plenty played North Harbour. North Harbour rushing out to a 21-0 lead and looked to be in a commanding position after the first quarter of the game, especially as Bay of Plenty then had a yellow card as well. Bay of Plenty came back to win that one 37-33 to see themselves into the semi-finals. And that meant it all came down to the last game of the regular competition to see whether Canterbury would get the wooden spoon or would Canterbury manage to see themselves out of that. And a long-range kick by their 19-year-old winger was enough to see Canterbury beat Auckland 34-33, another 1-point game. That means that North Harbour finish bottom of the log, and we'll have to see what form Mitre Cup takes next year. They're talking about structural change, so they may or may not be relegated there. Three teams finished on 29 points, just 2 points ahead than Wellington, Canterbury and Waikato. And the semi-finals will be Auckland versus Waikato and Tasman versus Bay of Plenty next weekend. We'll also next weekend, as a doubleheader with that Tasman versus Bay of Plenty game, will be the Black Ferns versus the New Zealand Barbarians. as well. So head down there to Nelson for those games. It should be a cracker next weekend. I think both those games are on Saturday. You have now started the day the best way, up to speed with all of the important sports news. If there is a sport happening that we haven't been talking about, then do let us know where we can find those results and what's been going on, and then we'll be bringing that to you as well. We're here to give all sports a platform and exposure here on New Zealand Sports Radio. So please do get in touch with your sports that and where we can find those results. And we'll be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. with the morning sports briefing. And don't forget to join Ashwin this evening at 8 p.m. for Swinging from the Hip.